Hello, and thank you for joining me on this episode of Simply Saturday, where I get to show you a card that is fast and easy to make. My name is Julie, and this is Stamp with Julie Baum. Today's card is a new design for me that I have not done before. Some of the cards that I share with you I have done before, and some are brand new. And this one is one of those new ones. I kind of saw the idea and decided to case it and really liked it. So let me share this card with you. It won't take long to put together. I'm using paper from Delightfully Eclectic, which is a pack of 12 by 12 of the designer series paper. And I want to tell you that what got me kind of excited about this layout is I was able to choose papers that were maybe not my favorites. Do you know how that is? Sometimes you get a packet of paper and 80% of it you just love. You love the print on the front or the back, and then there might be a few that aren't your favorite. So I'm gonna put this card together for you, and then I'm gonna show you two others that really feature what I'm saying. The papers on those other ones are really not my favorites, and yet the card comes out so cute. So I'm here to show you how to use up some of those other papers that might be in your stash. So these three pieces are each 1 inch by, let me remind myself, by 5 inches. So you'll need 3 of those that coordinate. All right, and then I have a piece of white cardstock. And if you follow along using my layering guides, let's match these up to our guides. So this white piece is this size, which is a number 3 in your layering guide. It's 3 3/4 inches by 5, so you'll need 1 of those. Then you'll need a piece that's larger. So in my layering guides, this is a guide number 2. So cut your paper, your cardstock, to a size number 2, which if you want to measure is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then of course our card base. And I am using a black card base today. So we're definitely going to want to put a white panel on the inside at the end. All right, so let's begin. I also have another piece of white cardstock that is 1 inch by 4 inches. This is where we're going to do our stamping. All right, so onto the card base is going to go the layer of colored cardstock, and on this particular card I'm using Fresh Freesia. So this just gets attached easily with liquid glue. Like so. The other thing that I'm going to show you, if you stick around to the end, are a couple of variations when you get to the decorating portion. All right, next is going to be our white layer. So it's going to go on here next. Then the next thing that you're going to want to do is decide which order that you want your 3 pieces of designer series paper to be in across the card. All right, so you can kind of lay them out and just decide color-wise kind of how you want them to go. All right, and then what we're going to do before we attach those is we're going to put little banner ends on each one. Now to make this fast and easy, I am using the Banners Pick-a-Punch, and we are going to use this part right here and punch both ends of each of the 3 papers. So the way I like to do it is I first stick it in this way so I can see what I'm doing. Then I flip the punch over, because even though it seems like it should go in nice and straight, sometimes it's a little crooked. So on this side I can see if it's straight and in all the way, and punch it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. So feed it in, looking at it from the front if you need to. Flip it over, make sure it's nice and straight, and punch. So there's our banner ends on the first one. Now we need to do that with the other 2 strips. Now, if you can do it this way without looking, you can do that, but I kind of feel like I'm working blind. So it's up to you. I'm going to feed that in, flip it over, and yes, I have punched it before without checking, and I've gotten some crooked ones. So that's why my practice is just to flip it over and check. It doesn't take any extra time to just make sure, and it sure saves you from wasting a strip of paper. All right, and then our third and final one. Yeah, see, that one was actually crooked. I was able to straighten it out, and okay, fast and easy. Now, if you don't have the Banners Pick-a-Punch, of course you can use your scissors and just hand trim that little banner out of there. All right, let's go back to our layout. And I'm just gonna do a dry fit. And this is so that I can determine my spacing. So I kind of want to see what space I have on the white piece. And then once I lay these 3 strips, I'm looking for somewhat equal distance, at least that looks pleasing to the eye. If this gap is a little bit larger than the outside, that might be okay with you, or you might want to keep fiddling with it to make it a little bit different. Now at this point, I'm going to leave the 2 outside ones in place, and I'm going to attach the middle one. That will keep me somewhat going in the layout and the spacing that I've already determined, especially if I don't move those when I lay this one down. All right, and it's also helping me to eyeball if it's relatively straight. And I'm going to slide it up a little bit. I say that. There we go. Okay, then we can get the other 2 pieces in place. A little bit of liquid glue, which I do recommend because, as you just saw, I needed to move that piece, and if I had stuck it down with Stampin' Seal or some of the other very strong adhesives, I would not have been able to budge that. I'm going to flip this around and get that side instead, looking at my spacing, and get that one in place, and then we have our last one. All right, now once these 3 are in place, we can set this aside and go ahead and do our stamping. And I've chosen a stamp from Charming Sentiments, which is one that I've been reaching for quite a bit in the last couple weeks. And I'm using this stamp here, wishing you the happiest of birthdays, because I wanted a long stamp. So sometimes that determines the card or the design with what you're going with. And in this case, I wanted a long, there we go, a long sentiment, and so I'm chosen this one. All right, now this piece is 1 inch by 4 inches. In the examples that I'm going to show you at the end, I did change that, so I'll be sure and point that out so you can see the difference, and either way is right. Because I've stamped with this stamp a couple times, I know that I need to look at the word "of" in the middle and make sure that it is inked, because it's a solid banner. So I'm just looking to make sure. All right, and then I'm going to do my best to center it on this piece of paper. Like so. Okay, on this card, we're going to keep it the easiest way possible. So we're just going to go ahead and add this flat right onto the front of the card. It's going to go right here. And it's easy because you can line it up with this white panel. So you can line up the side and, oh, this is long. What happened? Hold, please. Oh, because we cut this down a little bit. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you what I would do. Okay, normally I would redo it, but no, we're just going to fix this. This is, let me show you what happened. My white piece is only 3 3/4, so this is a little bit too long. So I'm going to take some long bladed scissors, And I'm going to trim this side and this side. See, I need to take a little bit off of each end so that my words are still centered. That one wasn't very straight. Let me try again. All right, so you're getting to see me fix this on the fly. Let's see how that is. Okay, that's what we needed. So back to where we were. I'm going to lay that on there. It lines up with the edges of our white panel, as I told you it would. Okay, we're going to do two things to dress this up, and this is where the variations come into play, because I will show you different things on the other two cards. So one thing I'm going to do is grab some twine, and this is from the set of basics or essentials. I'm gonna have to see what it's called, but it's got the tan, the white. Actually, this is a thicker twine. Okay, this is something that was in my collection. This twine is a little bit thicker, but because it's black, I'm gonna show this one to you. In the catalog, if you're looking for the twine, or if you're looking for it online, it's called Baker's Twine Essentials Pack. All right, and it comes with crumb cake, white, black, gray granite, and vanilla. Okay, this twine is a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make a bow. Good, now you're gonna get to see for sure 3 different examples because I used our regular twine on the other 2 cards. All right, so there's my bow. And I will grab some glue dots next. And we'll get this in place. Then we'll use a couple of little embellishments. All right, this twine bow is a little bit heavy, so I'm going to actually apply 2 glue dots, slightly off of each other, to give me an extra big sticky space. And we're just going to place our bow right about here. All right, super cute. I'm going to trim this tail a teeny bit. It's easier before it's on, but it's a little bit long. There we go. All right. The last thing that I'll do is add some color and a little pop of interest right here. So I'm going to add the this pink or fresh freesia maybe color from the Tinsel Gems 3-pack. And you can decide, because I used the 1-inch piece of paper here, I'm going to go ahead and use 4 embellishments. So I'm choosing the smaller size, and I'm going to put them in the corners. You'll see me with a different option on one of the other examples that I'll show you. All right, so very simple between the colors and the patterns of the paper, and then just a little pop with your embellishments. It just comes alive. And then I would take a white panel and place it on the inside, which mine has escaped me, so you'll have to use your imagination. All right, let me show you the other 2 and talk about the differences. Okay, so on this one, I did the same steps. I popped up this white piece with dimensionals instead of doing it flat. And part of the reason I did that is on this strip of paper, I went ahead and wrapped twine around and then added my bow. So I needed this to be up a little level. So this was added with dimensionals. This one has a whole wrapped bow look. And then the embellishments that I chose for this card are from the Pastel Adhesive Backed Sequins. And this is a great example. This strawberry paper is not one of my favorites. It just didn't jump out at me, and so it was nice to be able to pair it with these, and now I think it's beautiful. So that's an example of using up some of those papers that maybe are not your favorite. And on this card that we started with, this one was one that maybe wasn't my favorite, but once I paired it with those, I love it. And then the third example is I did this one very similar to the first card. This is flat, so just as I did, but the piece of cardstock is narrower. So this piece is only 3/4 of an inch. And so because it's narrower, I only used one little embellishment on each side instead of the 4 corners like I did on those. And then this bow in blue is just placed on there with a glue dot, just like I did that one. These beautiful little embellishments are from the Tinsel Gems 4-pack. So you got to see the 4-pack, you got to see the 3-pack, and then also the pastel adhesive backed sequins. So just depending on what goes with your color scheme and your papers, you can decide which embellishments need to go on your project. And there's the white. And there. So there's our Fast and Easy card for today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and will want to case this card and copy it and make it, maybe changing up the papers if you have different papers that you're dying to use. I will put some information for you below this video in that description box, including the current host code, as well as the dimensions and links so that you can find these products and also shopping links as well. So thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate your comments, so I look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, happy stamping.